Well, hello everybody. We are going to review the Cambridge ESV Pitt Minion Reference Edition Bible today. Last week, we did a review of the Cambridge ESV Wide Margin Edition Bible, and I hope you guys got to see that. If not, you can go back, or I'll put a link down at the bottom that you can go back and watch that, because there are going to be some comparisons between this one and the wide margin towards the end of the video, and some things, at least one specific thing that I think is extremely cool that Cambridge does. But let's get into the ESV Pitt Minion. So it comes with this in this box. It's a really nice box. I keep the boxes because, again, if I got to transport it somewhere, like, I don't want to just stick it. But it gives you a little bit of information about it on the back. This is the black goat skin leather edition. They do have a calf split, a calf skin, and a calf split. I believe it kind of goes in that order. Calf skin, calf split, goat skin. Goat skin being the highest level. So this is the red letter edition. It means all the words that Jesus says are in red. It does have references in the middle. It has a little concordance in the back. Nice art gilting on the pages. And it's quite a bit smaller. So, and a little map section. So again, I'm an adult male. This is my hand. I can actually slide this into my back pocket, like in my jeans, just like this. And I don't have a problem. You can fold it in half. I don't know if I would suggest you do that, but you can do that. And I have seen like a 3-year crash test, a couple videos of this specific Bible that get beat up and they last. And even with being folded in your back pocket, if this is your travel Bible, which this one is my travel Bible, and it lasts. The goat skin, even the calf split is going to last. So on the spine you have Holy Bible, English Standard Version, and Cambridge. Nothing on the front of this Bible, nothing on the back. This is the goat skin leather. And again, all these pages are tabbed into the block, which make them a little more sturdy than your just everyday ordinary Bible, you know, $20 that you're going to buy. Sometimes this ends up ripping out. I have 2 or 3 Bibles in there that this all happened. This little section here rips out and then the Bible flaps open. You tape it, whatever you want to do. But this Bible is almost exactly the same. There are a few differences than the wide margin, but that's one of the cool things that I'm going to show you towards the end. But you know, it has your title page that looks exactly the same as the wide margin, and your information about the Bible. Then we get into the text. The paper is a little bit thinner, but it's not too thin. You can see a little bit of ghosting coming through, but it doesn't bother me when I'm sitting reading. Actually, if I'm going to read for a long time, this is a little bit more comfortable, because if you can see it sitting in my hand, it's not really a problem. It opens up pretty flat. It is lay flat because of the way that the block is hand sewn, especially once it gets worn in. This Bible is not quite a year old yet, so it hasn't been hammered. It does go with me quite literally everywhere. It lives in a backpack that I carry with me everywhere. I take it out when I'm at home and when I'm studying and whatnot. But this one goes with me everywhere because it's quite a bit smaller. And it just sits in a backpack in actually what essentially is my water bladder pouch in my backpack. I just don't carry a water bladder, so it sits in there and is relatively protected. It's actually kind of a good spot for it. The only thing that happens is the ribbons, which we talked about last time, which are kind of cheap. They get a little bit folded down there, but that's not really a big deal. So let's look at the dimensions real quick. We're looking at 5 inches by about 7 1/4 by about 1 inch. Okay, so it's not a big Bible. It's meant to be carried around. It could easily fit in a purse, or again, even a pocket of at least an adult male. It could fit in your pocket if you needed it to. The text is small. I'm not going to lie to you. I have pretty good vision, so I don't have a problem. I can read it at arm's length and still see it. and really, again, not have a problem unless the lighting is low. But my wife, let's say she wears glasses, even with her glasses on, she can struggle. Like, she can't read this particular Bible over my shoulder, let's say, because the text is a little too small. So that is something to be aware of. Cambridge says it's about between a 6 and a 7 point font. And that's kind of hard to judge by just looking at the computer. But if you have decent vision and don't seem to have a problem with that, I don't think that this is going to cause you trouble, because it does not cause me any trouble. So I do write in this Bible, not quite as much, but I will transfer especially a lot of my notes. And we talked last time about symbols. So I have some highlights here, and the highlights, you can see they don't really come through. It's probably harder to see. You can kind of see them in the background. It's probably harder to see through the camera, but it doesn't bother me. It doesn't come through. Line matching, just like the wide margin, you can see ghosting where there is no words, but where there are words, it's not going to bother you. It's not all shifted around, so while you're reading it, it's unpleasant to your eye. So we talked last time about my little symbol system that I use, and we'll do a video in the future of how I study. I've gotten a lot of tips and tricks from a lot of different people and put together my own system. So I will do a video on that for you. But I use symbols. You can see quite clearly that there is not a whole lot of room to write in this Bible. But this is the Bible that I take everywhere with me. So I want to be able to flip it open to certain passages and without having to work too hard, just glance down at the page and know where I'm at or what I'm doing. So I use these symbols. The symbols fit just fine. They don't bleed through a ton. You can kind of see it, but not a big deal. It's not going to take away from your reading, in my impression, at least for me. And I have different colors that we talked about that I use for highlighting. But you can still write your symbols. You can write a few words in this Bible, but I wouldn't use this Bible for your primary study Bible. We have the concordance in the back. It's an abbreviated concordance, but it's there, and some quick helps if you needed it. That's one thing that your Bible app might be good for, is a better concordance you can carry with you. Buy a concordance on your Kindle or something and have a pretty legit one that's going to be more in depth than this particular Bible. So you have your map index and your section of maps. Maps, while small, are still excellent, I think. I can read all the words, I can see all the symbols, and I get a lot out of that. You have a couple of white pages in the back. I have my little symbol section just as my reminder, or more for the people who I'm going to pass this Bible down to, because this is a legacy Bible. This is a nice quality Bible, just as quality as the wide margin, that someday somebody, hopefully 50 or 60 years from now, will want, my children, and they might want to know what all my little symbols mean if they don't know already. And I keep a little ledger of where I go. Now, I'm not a missionary or a pastor or anything like that, so my list is pretty short even this year. But wherever this Bible goes, that's a major life experience, I just write that down in the back of my Bible. So this is a great Bible. I love that Bible. Now, I want to show you a really super cool feature of the Pitt Minion. Again, this is the Cambridge ESV Pitt Minion edition. I want to show you something that I'm really excited about, and this is one of the things that sold me on Cambridge when I started looking for a premium Bible. So this is the size difference, by the way. You can see that there's quite a difference, right? So let's flip open to somewhere, and let's see if I have them marked the same. Sometimes my ribbon markers are the same, and it'll be a little quicker. Because I do use these Bibles in tandem. When I study, they are both sitting right next to each other. So if I want to, I can highlight or make a little note, or at the very least, I transfer it later. So I want to show you this feature that I think is extremely cool. If you notice, these two pages look exactly the same, and that's important. So when I study in this Bible and I write notes, and again, we'll go over that later. But your eye as a human, you start noticing how things are laid out. For example, if you've lived in your house for quite a long time and haven't moved your furniture around, you can probably turn all the lights off and walk around in your house because your brain just knows where things are. That's one of my biggest reasons that I say you should have a physical Bible that you get to know and that you touch, because your brain is going to start knowing where things are. So if you're using 2 or 3 different Bibles all the time to study, you're not getting that aspect. You're not getting the remembering where specifically something is. So you can open up to Psalm 25 and know that it's right here. You know it's going to be on the left side of the paper. It's going to look like this. Or Matthew 22. If you're going to refer to Matthew 22 and you're talking to a friend, you want to flip open to it, your thumbs will start knowing exactly where it is. And you know where it is on the paper. Okay? Like I go here a lot, so I know this. Well, if you're using multiple different Bibles, you're not going to get that. With this set that Cambridge has set up, the wide margin and the Pitt Minion, these are exactly the same. This one is just smaller. So page 448. Okay, page 448. It is set up exactly the same. Psalm 25, Psalm 25. I have copied over some of my highlights. That's extremely handy because for me, it doesn't matter which one I'm reading. It looks the same, and I'm still learning the feel of where things are. I'm learning where Psalm 25 is when you're reading both of these Bibles. And I personally think that that's an extremely positive and beneficial luxury that Cambridge has afforded me, to have these 2 Bibles and to have them work together. So I hope that this has been educational. The ribbons are the same. The ribbons they're laid out better, you can see in this Bible. But they're not super high quality. So I hope this review has been beneficial for you. I hope that it's given you some options that you might not have known that were out there, and some food for thought. Again, Cambridge ESV Pitt Minion edition. Hope you guys have a great day.